Well, hey, Pastor Roberto Bruno, pastor of the Central Apostolic Church, saying hello. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully you've had a great week, as I always say, because it is my goal in life to have a good week, right? Good day. And sometimes we have challenging days. Yeah, I know it's a play on words because I had a bad day. Now, how do I have a bad day if God has made this day, right? Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Look at me being all Christian-like. Well, praise the Lord. Hopefully you're doing good and God has just been with you, which I know He has. But I hope that you have noticed, you have noticed Him in your life. Because sometimes we could kind of fool ourselves or be delusional to a certain degree and think that God's not with us or God's not talking or God's not protecting us. And those are usually the lies of the devil. And, circumstances could be challenging. But biblically speaking, life's going to be challenging. And we need to, to trust God, right? And really, adapt, receive and adapt. That's possible. The things that God has. In John chapter 14 and verse 27, it says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and not be afraid." Man, that sounds good on paper, don't it? But yeah, living that is amazing. Because here Jesus says that He gives us His peace, right? And as a full-grown man, I have been on an endeavor to live a peaceful life. And a lot of times we are misled by ideas of society and our emotions where, we need a significant other to complete us. I need to find my soulmate so I could live in peace. And soulmates, that's not biblical, but, you find someone, yes, you could live a good life of love and all that comes with it. But peace is one of those internal things. And here Jesus is saying that he's leaving it, He's given it to us. We don't have to, be troubled or be afraid, right? Because isn't that the opposite of peace, is being troubled and afraid? And this is what I've learned in my latter Christian life, is that the things that God has done, we can't take for granted. In a sense, we could take heaven and salvation for granted because He's done the work for us, right? The cross, the blood, the cleansing, the power of the resurrection, all of that stuff. Of course, we have to believe it, and live it. But then there's a lot of the other things that God gives that we've got to claim it. Not just peace, but also just believing that we've been forgiven, that we've received mercy. There's just so many things. There's this great quote from Bruce Lee. And he says this. He says, you don't find peace, right? Because we hear that all the time. Oh, I need to find my peace. I need to find myself. We think that we've got to do these things. Where can I find peace? I don't find peace in this marriage, so I'm going to get a divorce. Bruce Lee says you don't find peace. You choose it by what you ignore, by what you release, by what you stop giving energy to. That is the shift. I think that's a pretty powerful quote because for me it rings true. As for the longest time, I did put a lot of energy in other things. And usually the energy goes into negative things or hoping that, a friend, a loved one, my wife is going to change, that my circumstances of my house that I really am not happy about, will eventually change. And then I'll have peace. No, it's a choice. Here, Jesus in John 14 says, he's already given it to us, beloved. Like it's already ours. I leave it to you. I've given it to you. Right? To the point where he says, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be troubled. So it's not a matter of, I'm just waiting for Jesus to give me peace. No, we have to choose it. We have to intentionally make a decision that I'm not going to wait for so-and-so to be perfect. I'm not going to wait for my parents to say sorry to me. I'm not going to wait, till my siblings start to talk to me again. No. We're never going to find it. We're not going to get it that way. We have to choose it. Choose peace. Choose to not be afraid. Choose to not be overwhelmed or anxious. They're choices. And a lot of those feelings, a lot of times are based in fear. And the opposite of fear is peace. And so that's why Jesus says, it says in several places, how Jesus is our peace. But we could preach a sermon from that. But if we don't choose, beloved, then are we just like everybody else that doesn't know Christ? Troubled, afraid, anxious, breaking up relationships and families because the person we're with isn't bringing peace. They're not creating a peaceful environment. We think peace is around us, but peace is actually inside of us. And let me tell you firsthand, for someone who has really, really embraced that thought, that philosophy, that ownership of what Jesus has done, it has revolutionized my life. And the sad part is, I just started living this way about a month ago. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 2 months ago. And it really changed my perspective on problems in my life, right? Some of us have problems that just don't go away. Some of us have problems or situations that have been going on for years, right? I have the same problems, same issues in my house, same. Nothing's changed. Maybe some would even say a little bit worse. But the difference is, I now choose the peace that Jesus has given to me. And you could do the same, beloveds. You could be free. You could literally be free from fear and anxiety and troubles. God bless you.